Welcome back to Takacs McGinnins Elder Care Law Hour. I'm Barbara McGinnis, and in today's episode we're going to be talking about caring and caring for elderly people and the impact that it might have on the workforce.
Right, and I'm Tim Takacs, your co-host, and with us today from the Middle Tennessee Society for Human Resource Management are Paula Murray and Jade Wilkerson. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can you start by telling us a little bit more about what the Middle Tennessee Society for Human Resource Management is? What does it do?
Sure. So Society of Human Resource Management, we are in Middle TSHRM. We are an affiliate of the national chapter for
Middle TSHRM?
Middle TSHRM.
Okay.
MTSHRM.
Okay.
Oh, I completely messed it up.
Okay.
That's okay. You mean
right.
Middle Tennessee
Society
for Human Resources Management.
Right.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Which
Okay.
we call MTSHRM, and our purpose is to speak as the voice of the HR profession in Middle Tennessee, as well as to support and develop programs for HR professionals, and to also offer educational opportunities and development of HR professionals in the Nashville community.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So with a growing number of caregivers on the radar, people that are in the workforce now, are employers starting to notice that, and what are employers doing about it?
Absolutely. What was formerly known as the baby boomer generation is now becoming synonymous with the sandwich generation, or those who are both taking care of their aging parents and also raising a child or children simultaneously. In fact, the Pew Research Center reported recently that 23% of Americans compose this sandwich generation. So the evidence of these effects you see are increases in time off requests, greater frequencies in unplanned or last minute absences, and even higher usage of leaves of absence. A lot of times we see an increase in stress of employees who are taking on the responsibilities of caregiving. And at the end of the day, it is a responsibility of employers to ensure that these shifts are being covered during these absences, and also being a support for our colleagues and employees and helping them function at their best at work.
So how do you work with employers in handling this? I won't say a growing problem, but it's just something that happens. How do you help an employer, that comes to you, and needs help with this?
Okay. I think the number one thing that employers can do to help out people who are caregivers is to have family care benefits available to employees. So these can include anything from having elder care referral services, to having backup elder and dependent care, to make sure everyone's aware about dependent flexible spending accounts, to even having on-site counseling or caregiver support groups are also helpful. So communicating with employees what resources are available for caregivers.
And do you find that there's many employers that offer those services in Middle Tennessee?
There are a lot of employers that offer them, but they're not very well communicated. So they're often a part of the insurance program or the employee assistance program. But it's important to have supervisors and managers who are trained in how to get the resources to employees when they express a need.
Yeah.
So Paula, what do you do for Middle Tennessee SHRM?
I am the Director of Workforce Planning. I am responsible for developing really the next set of our leaders in the HR community. So that includes development of the young professionals, as well as the college relations group, where we interact with people in college who are interested in HR professions, as well as HR people who are in transition. So these are people who are either transitioning to HR careers or who've been displaced from the workforce. And also we do mentorship, where we partner with college students and HR professionals to start facilitating those relationships and development of human resources.
And Jade, what do you do for same thing, or?
Yeah, very similar. I work with Paula. My role is the chair of college relations. So under that sector, as you talked about, a lot of our support is with the young and upcoming professionals interested in the HR profession. And I run the mentor program committee, where we partner university students, both undergraduate and graduate, with professionals who work with them on resume building and job interviewing, and really figuring out what part of HR is meant for them. It's really exciting.
So how can businesses learn more about these best practices?
Okay. Well, Middle Tennessee SHRM, actually, through our membership, we offer a program called HR 360. And HR 360 is an online toolkit and library which offers different programs, resources. It's really a compliance library. So as an HR professional, part of our membership, you can go out and find sample forms, sample documents, policies, procedures. And it also includes a 1-800 number where you can call an expert and ask a question. And this can also be useful for small businesses who may have someone who's serving in the HR function but not in the HR role. So it's really a way for businesses to be able to access the information as well.
Because I bet a lot of small businesses or sole proprietorships, they may have payroll and somebody doing taxes and that kind of stuff, but they don't probably really have the luxury of an HR professional. So it sounds like your website and the HR 360 might be a really good tool. Anything mandated that you know of for employers to be accommodating for this caregiver group?
Well, I definitely think the FMLA, Federal Family Medical and Leave Act, does give some accommodations that people can request if they have a qualified person they're caring for with a serious health condition. Also, we don't see as much mandated, but we are seeing flexible work schedules become a part of the everyday culture. So it's more of making sure people are treated fairly and equally than employer mandated.
So do you work with a lot with small businesses, large businesses? Can you see, Barbara mentioned small business, which of course that's like defines us. I mean, we have less than 15 employees, and if we lose somebody because they're taking care of somebody, that's a real impact on our businesses. What tips can you share about that for small businesses?
For small businesses, I would say, just in terms of the resources that Paula shared, there's definitely a lot of factors that are driving the business case for employers, both small and big, to consider caregiving, more generous caregiving packages. And even with that, you see a positive impact on retention, productivity, and training, and just more engagement.
So let's make sure they contact you. So we've got your contact information up here.
All right. Well, thank you, Paula, and thank you, Jade. I think you're a secret, that we're glad to know that you guys exist and that you're offering that kind of support to young professionals in the community. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back, and I think we're going to have some other
from the AARP?
Yeah, I was going to say professionals that can help us with caregiving issues. Thanks.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.